Alright, what is up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here with the Night of Champions kickoff party. They're going to kick off with the pre-show like they normally do. For a few months they were running with the gimmick that they were going to do 2 different pre-show matches, but I guess they've toned it down to the point where they're only going to do 1 pre-show match. But when you look at the Night of Champions, I think as of right now, I think it's been 8 matches that are announced. Having only one match on the pre-show isn't that bad, especially when it's a 6-man tag. You've got the new teaming of the Cosmic Wasteland, which is the Ascension and Stardust. Stardust to me just still has one of the most goofiest 8x10 pictures, or just that picture that they prop into all of the match cards. It looks like he's supposed to be one of the biggest, goofiest, just cartoonish Santino guys. And instead they make this guy out to be like one of the all-time greatest comic book villains that just will never go away. And speaking of never going away, they're wrestling against Neville and the Lucha Dragons in the feud that will never end. Neville versus Stardust. I think this is what they were planning on doing with Stardust when they started going in the direction when a lot of people were hoping that they were going to be starting to take the paint off of Cody Rhodes. I think they had an idea that they were going to build up this big sort of cartoonish WWE alter universe that was going to roll around with, and adding in the Ascension, adding in the Lucha Dragons is 2 of the best things that you could have done. Definitely, you know that the Ascension really are looking for anything in WWE that is going to keep them hanging around. Definitely Connor and Victor, when they debuted on the main roster and they started wearing the weird sort of shoulder pads with the collars. They started painting their face out of the middle of nowhere. This wasn't the Ascension from the good old NXT days. I don't know, man. Honestly, to me, I think they were a team that really could have done something in WWE. But if you go back to the one episode of Monday Night Raw with the NWO reunion, when Hall and Nash took it to these guys, as well as with the New Age Outlaws, and I believe the APA was in the ring as well. Just horrible way to establish booking a new tag team. They've done this millions of times, whether if it's like with Randy Orton and the Legend Killer, use those guys in the ring to just have the Ascension should have beat up all 6 of those guys, even if some of those guys aren't able to wrestle, or, they're scared of them breaking a hip or something like that. At least just run at them and make the guys fall. And show them that they're a little bit scared. If you got, Hall and Nash, who, will probably be main eventing the next spring break, indie show, with all their, I can't say that about Scott Hall. I apologize. I was thinking about, in WCW, when their gimmick was that they would show up to the shows with the cooler, and they were just wearing regular clothes, and all of a sudden, they were, forced to come back, and they wrestled against those, I guess they were strippers or porn stars or something. I just remember that one chick, the Asian one, had huge cans. Huger than huge cans. But the Ascension should have whooped up on them. I don't really know what's going on with the Lucha Dragons. Definitely the tag team division is hotter than it's ever been before. You've got 3 real sort of contenders. You've got the primetime players. You've got the Dudleys. You've got the New Day, who are the champions now. I thought that the Lucha Dragons were really in this sort of deal, but honestly, since the New Day has really risen up and they won that #1 contenders match, the Lucha Dragons haven't really been what they once were. They're a very real, fun, entertaining team, but definitely somebody like Neville is somebody that should be not wrestling on the pre-show. If they're trying to build this guy up to be some sort of a superhero, battling these guys, and they like putting up the little comic book graphics, make the matches mean more and make it where they're actually wrestling on the real show. Neville's the guy that I think definitely could be a real force inside of WWE, and is one of those guys that when he's wrestling on the pre-show, I don't think he's really getting the chance that he really should. This should be a real fun, real entertaining team. You think of all the high-flying antics that Neville and the Lucha Dragons are going to bring to this one. You got to think as them, just establishing Cosmic Wasteland as a real faction. Even though they weren't used on Monday Night Raw and strictly used on SmackDown, they more than likely got to get the win here. I'm pretty sure. I think that's just the way it's going to have to happen.